Hello all sentient beings and welcome to Transmissions Alt Mode, where we talk about all news, comics, and media related to the... On this episode of Transmissions Alt Mode, we review Transformers issue 32. Renegade Game Studios is putting out a 1,000-piece jigsaw puzzle, and we go over recent set photos from Transformers Rise of the Beasts. Today is Friday, July 23rd, 2021, and this is episode 243 of Transmissions Alt Mode.
Welcome to Transmissions Alt Mode, the podcast that's been having its own space race between ourselves and other podcasts. And we're losing. I'm your host, Charles, aka Big C, and I'm joined by the excellent Transmissions team. Jeremy, aka Yakko.
Hey, how's it going?
The amazing and awesome producer and editor, Mike.
Just as a point of reference, I don't help losers.
And Daryl, the Cybertronian Beast.
I'm going to chalk it up to the fact that every time that there's a space, we have an app that gets rid of it. So,
Zing!
That's a deep cut.
let's talk Transformers.
We start off the show by thanking our Donatreons, those lovely people who give us money on Patreon and PayPal. Thank you so much for continuing to support the show. And this week, we welcome our newest Donatreon, Demon Tech 82, but this is not just any Donatreon. They have joined up at the top tier Masterpiece Donatreon level. Demon Tech 82, we salute you and thank you so much for your contribution. That's awesome.
Yeah,
really appreciate it.
Don't worry, guys. I beat up Russian Yoshi just before the show, so we're not going to have to worry about him.
The hell you did?
Son of a bitch!
I am back, motherfucker! I am back. You think I got to beat up by you? No shit. You don't know shit about beating up people. You don't beat them up and leave them. You beat them into the ground. You didn't do nothing to me, you bastard. Get over here. I'm mad
Russian
at you.
Yoshi is now Austrian. Sounds a lot like Schwarzenegger.
Just going to say.
He was very close to us, and we're on the same continent. I am very happy. This is 2 shows in a row you have me on. This is fantastic. But Mike, you suck shit.
I'm sorry, guys. I thought I got him, but I just didn't get the job done.
You get
You said
one
his
shot
name
at
3
me.
times and he appeared.
You get one shot at me, boyo. You get one shot at me. You miss, and you regret it.
You come at the czar, you best not miss.
That's right.
Boy, do I regret it.
I don't know what part of the Americas you are in, but I'm going to call my cousin Texas Yoshi. He's going to come over, and he's going to fuck you up.
Oh no, I'm in Texas.
Ho, ho, ho. You made mistake now, sucker. You told me where you were. I'm coming to get you.
Whatever you do, don't come down to South Central Texas.
Ho, ho, ho. 2 mistakes. What, this guy, some kind of genius? He's so stupid.
All right, yeah, Russian Yoshi, you can't murder our editor. Without him, we won't have a show. The show doesn't get produced without Mike, so you need to have him stick around.
You guys still have human doing editing? What is you're still having this Craig? There's supposed to be Craig doing editing on the show now.
We kick Craig out the door.
I'm still
Craig
paying.
did a terrible job.
I'm still paying Craig. Why am I paying him? You got to include me on these things. You got to make me part of the group. Bring me in on the loop. This is nuts. I'm going to cancel that now. This Craig guy, he's asshole. Why didn't he not tell me he's not working with you?
Can we get Daryl back? I know, we love you, Russian Yoshi, but can Daryl come back, please?
I love you too, Charles. You're a nice boy. Okay, I bring Daryl back. Okay, goodbye. Have a good week, boys.
Thank you.
Oh, boy. This is ridiculous, guys. This is freaking crazy. I don't know. I don't know what you guys get.
More Donatreon.
These Donatreons, I mean, I'm having a good time with it. These guys are great. But this is, I don't know how they're even getting access to my house. It's nuts.
Next time you see him, Daryl, can you just tell him that Charles doesn't speak for 90% of the podcast? Just deliver that message.
Oh, Mike, you are new to being on the show. He does. He does.
I don't know if this is an incentive to get more donatrons if Russian Yoshi keeps coming back. Maybe it's just not for me. I guess everyone else loves it.
Write in, everyone. Let us know. You know the right decision to make.
Let's get on with the show. We have the next episode of Empire of Rust, episode 55. But this is the special uncut early version. This is only for Donatrions because we just had episode 54 in the main feed this week. And episode 55 is not for another 2 weeks. But if you are a Donatrion, you get it a week early. And this is the longer, uncut version with lots of extra stuff left in that does not make it into the regular Empire of Rust show. So this is episode 55. A wolf and his gun are soon parted. And this is exclusive to our Donatron. So it'll be available on our Patreon page or on the Donatron Dropbox link that we have in the Discord. So this is Monday, July 26th that this special episode will be out. And Demon Tech 82 gets direct access to this because he has become a Masterpiece Donatron, and so do all of our other Donatrions. So check that out.
Demon Tech, it's awesome. Go for it.
And this week, as we mentioned in the toy show, we do have War for Cybertron Kingdom content because the embargo was lifted on July 22nd. So we've got our spoiler-free review of War for Cybertron Kingdom featuring our good friend Ant from TFU.info. And that's you can hear our impressions. We were lucky enough to get to see the show early, and you can hear us talk about it. We won't give you any spoilers, so don't worry about that. But Kingdom does come out on Netflix on July 30th, so that is next Friday. So you've got a week. But if you want to hear our thoughts, it's available now in our podcast feed and on YouTube. And come back next week after War for Cybertron Kingdom drops, because we do have our spoiler-filled review of the show and an interview with the showrunners, FJ DeSanto and Matt Murray. So these will be out. Both of these will be on YouTube and available in the audio feed after July 30th. So after the Netflix show drops. And you should definitely watch the show before you listen or watch our full review and interview, because we do spoil the heck out of everything. So check those out. And one more thing, if you are a child of the 80s like us and interested in Masters of the Universe Revelation, we did get access to that show as well. That's already available now for everyone on Netflix. That came out today. But yesterday we were able to do when the embargo ended, we were able to do a spoiler-free review of Masters of the Universe Revelation. So check out our thoughts on that. It's not Transformers, but it is Transformers adjacent. We are children of the 80s, so that was Masters of the Universe was right before Transformers, came out. So it holds a dear place in our hearts.
This certainly was a show.
You can hear our full thoughts in that review. All right, now let's move on. We don't have any comics news, so we're going to jump right into our comic review for this week. So this week we are doing Transformers issue 32, Lord of Misrule, Test Flight 2. So this is the direct continuation of Test Flight 1, which Jeremy reviewed last week. So this is the continuing adventure of Jumpstream as she has teleported to some distant place. And we're going to talk about that in this episode. So this issue was written by Brian Ruckley, art by Angel Hernandez for pages 1 through 15, and Anna Malkova, pages 16 through 20. Colors by David Garcia Cruz. Letters by Jake M. Wood. Editor David Marriott. Assistant editor Riley Farmer. And supervising editor Tom Waltz. So we have 3 covers. Cover A is Jump Stream, captured by Avoyne. Looks like she's being controlled by the Voyne. And this is art by Dan Schuning with colors by Luis Antonio Delgado. Then we have cover B, which is Jump Stream jumping through Unspace with a seeker, apparently a ghost seeker, seeing, looking on, maybe trapped in the same void. This is by Josh Burcham. And then the retailer incentive cover is Jumpstream jumping out of a portal, and it looks like a seeker hand is right behind her. And this is art by Winston Chan, friend of the show, Winston Chan. All right, so Daryl, what did you think of this week's cover?
I actually really liked Winston's cover, and I was a little disappointed when I wasn't able to get it this week at my comic store. Anytime one of our favorite covers gets done and it becomes an RI, I sweat a little because I know that I'm going to have a hard time getting it. But I really liked Winston's cover. It describes the issue very well. It's very simplistic. There's not a lot a lot of mess. It tells you what's going on with a lot of with just one character and a little bit of somebody else. It's quite dynamic. So yeah, no, I actually really, really liked Winston's cover this week.
All right. Jeremy, what did you think?
I agree. Winston's was my pick for the week, and I was happy that I was able to get to the store and pick it up. I like the other covers as well, except cover A it doesn't actually reflect something that happened in the book. You could say Josh Burcham's did, except Jumpstream, I don't know, it's kind of adjacent to something that happened. But I feel like Winston's does kind of describe something that happens in the book. And not besides that, I really like the use of the like motion lines and stuff. I like it.
Cool. And Mike, what did you think? Which cover did you prefer out of these 3?
I'm going to have to echo both these guys here. Winston's RI cover on here actually is very, very good. I'm loving the details, especially at the joints. It's always a really kind of... Whenever I see any artwork, like any Transformers artwork, whenever you see like a lot of detail put in like on the joints and all like the connecting elements between everything, you can always tell that they put a good amount of effort into it, because it's very easy to just block that off and just make it a flat color and that's that. But when you actually have like the structural elements of the bots in there, it's very, very nice to see. So yeah, I'm going to echo both of them and pick the RI as well.
All right. I will make it unanimous and also pick Winston's retailer incentive cover. Everything you guys said is spot on. I think this image has the conveys the part, a good part of the story. Also, the detail on Jumpstream is very well done. Even the detail on that one arm coming through the portal looks very cool. So, you can pretty much tell, or if you are familiar with Transformers and you are, familiar with Seekers, you can tell whose hand that is. So it's a sign of a very well done image. It's just a tiny little bit, but you can guess what it is. So
Winston doesn't pay us, just FYI.
Yeah, but Winston's a great artist, and we are very happy to see him make the jump from fan artist to professional artist. So great job, Winston. And yeah, I mean, also, of course, we talked about this earlier, that he is going to be doing the interiors on Beast Wars very soon. So, he's moving on up. All right, so let's talk about the story for Transformers 32. In the crazy alternate dimension Jumpstream has teleported to, she comes face to face to face to face with Cybertron's ruler, X-Archon, the threefold spark, inhabiting the bodies of Onslaught, Shockwave, and Megatron. X-Archon is surprised to find a bot wearing the colors of his long-dead enemy and asks her if she wants the mercy of extinction. Jumpstream is still confused. She tells him he can't be X-Archon because X-Archon is dead and gone. X-Archon disagrees and decides Jumpstream is just a bot that's lost her mind, so she can be sold back to the Void by the mercenaries. The Seeker clone guards take her away and hand her over to the mercenaries. The mercenaries are not Cybertronian, but Thrall aliens wearing dead Cybertronian bodies as mech suits. They take custody of Jumpstream and march her off to her future life of slavery. Jumpstream is still reeling from this world turned upside down. She reasons that she must have somehow teleported to an alternate universe where the forces of Cybertron never defeated X-Archon, and now he's destroyed everything. This is the worst case scenario, and she's stuck here. She doesn't have time to contemplate more as the mercenaries are ambushed by a strike team led by Bumblebee. He, Blackjack, Powerglide, and Swift take out the Thrall mercenaries and rescue Jumpstream. Swift asks who Jumpstream is, and she tells her. But Swift doesn't believe it, since she saw Jumpstream and Cyclonus die in the Sonic Canyons many cycles ago. Bumblebee is more worried about not dying today, so he tells everyone to focus on escaping X-Archon's Seeker clones right now, and they'll figure out the rest later. Jumpstream asks if they can spare some Energon since she's pretty much tapped out and won't be able to run anywhere. Blackjack tells her no one has had access to Energon for kilocycles unless they've been working for X-Archon. He wonders how she doesn't know this simple fact. Suddenly, Bumblebee's group is ambushed by Seeker clones led by Vortex and Trigger Happy. Swift is blown away, and Vortex is happy to take care of the rest of these last rebels. The fight doesn't go well. Blackjack is surrounded by a swarm of Insecticon drones. Powerglide is blasted by a Seeker. Trigger Happy corners Bumblebee and Jumpstream, but he wastes his element of surprise on demanding that Bumblebee say his name. Instead, Bumblebee blasts his head off. Jumpstream tells Bumblebee to save himself, transform, and drive away since she's out of energy. But Bumblebee tells her they've only survived on Nucleon for ages and have long since lost their alt modes. Jumpstream quickly explains that she's from another dimension or universe and somehow ended up here. She's trying to get back to her home universe, but she needs a massive fuel infusion to make the jump. Bumblebee isn't quite sure he believes her, but he tells her to take the Energon from Trigger Happy's corpse and Nucleon from Powerglide's corpse. He also gives her his last store of Nucleon, hoping it'll be enough. Bumblebee realizes that this is the end of the road for him, but maybe his last act can be to give her a second chance. Jumpstream absorbs the fuel and tries to initiate a jump. It takes her a moment to figure out how to access the conduit back into unspace, but she does it, just before Bumblebee makes his last stand. As she traverses the limbo in between these realms, another figure notices her and tries to lock onto her signal. Back in Perceptor's lab, Jumpstream materializes and crashes to the ground. Meanwhile, in Shockwave's base, Onslaught continues his guard duty watching Sunstorm in his containment prison. Sunstorm continues to ask Onslaught to let him out so he can show him the new world and make him become like Sunstorm. Onslaught continues to ignore him. Eventually, Vortex shows up to relieve Onslaught. Onslaught reminds Vortex not to let anybody near Sunstorm or let anybody talk to him. Vortex nods and sits down, ignoring Sunstorm while he plays a game on his Nintendo Switch. In the Iacon Medical Center, a frantic Cyclonus rushes into the room where Provoke was being treated. He comes to her side as she awakens. She's still in very bad shape, but she is conscious and talking. Cyclonus is happy to see his friend starting to recover and grateful for Flatline's efforts. Back in Perceptor's lab, Pyromagna is not pleased with what they've done to her loyal companion, Jumpstream. Perceptor explains that all the technology they installed in her to enhance her teleportation capabilities caused some kind of feedback loop. She lost control and teleported not only off the planet, but out of their universe entirely. Or did she? Lancer's analysis indicated Jumpstream was saturated with chronon particles. She didn't jump to another dimension. She jumped to the future. And if she ever awakens from her coma, she'll be able to tell them what the future holds for them all. Finally, in Limbo, a seeker-shaped figure has followed Jumpstream's signature like a trail of breadcrumbs. He manages to teleport back into real space. After eons exiled to unspace, Skywarp, the Lord of Misrule, has returned. To be continued. So I really enjoyed this issue. I thought this was a nice payoff to the setup of the previous issue. I think you had a lot of action with this post-apocalyptic Cybertron ruled by Exarchon. You know, it was really a very very desperate situation for all the, for Bumblebee. You basically see the end of Bumblebee's life. And then the twist at the end where we realize this is actually the future, the dystopian future of this Cybertron and not an alternate dimension. So I thought that was really well done. I liked all the little bits of lore, like throwing in Nucleon as an alternate fuel source, and then having the long-term Transformers idea that Nucleon, extended use of Nucleon will take away your alt mode. So that, that was a nice little callback. And it was cool. I really enjoyed this issue from beginning to end. I thought it was well done, well structured, and a nice self-contained story. This little two-parter. So I enjoyed it. Mike, what did you think of this issue?
So I'm a little confused. What's the deal with Skywarp? Have we ever seen anything about him in any of these previous issues? Because I don't recall hearing or seeing anything about him.
So yeah, I mean this is something that has been kind of mentioned in throwaway lines scattered in a couple of earlier issues. I actually had to look in the wiki because I did not remember this either.
Whoa.
But Skywarp was a servant of Exarchon in the previous war, and at some point, I think his teleportation capability malfunctioned, and he was somehow stranded in that unspace, area between dimensions. And that was mentioned as like a throwaway in one previous issue at some point. But yeah, it's not something that was immediately prominent and was not really something that was emphasized as a minor plot point from previous issues. So
all right, that's probably why I have no memory of it then. Okay, don't feel as bad now.
Yeah, you should not feel I mean this would be the kind of thing that you should have an editor put a little asterisk, like Skywarp was one of Exarchon's lieutenants who was banished to unspace during the War of the Threefold Spark or something like that.
Mentioned 14 issues ago.
Yeah, exactly.
All right.
It looks like number 15 was the last issue that was mentioned.
Wow.
Oof. Wow. Okay. So yeah, quite a while. All right. So that's cleared up. Good. So overall, the story, I do agree. It was a nice little kind of a nice little self-contained little two-parter. So, that's cool. I do like the action that was going on for it. I do appreciate the short story beats to it. So I do appreciate that. I was not a fan of the future timeline art style. I definitely didn't like that. Are we supposed to believe so? So we're supposed to believe that this is the future, but didn't Exarchon, wasn't he defeated in the past of this timeline?
Yes. So I think this is foreshadowing that Exarchon. Everyone believes Exarchon is dead. So this story is foreshadowing that Exarchon somehow is not dead and is in hiding at this point.
Okay.
And will resurface at some point in the future.
I feel like I need a scorecard to keep track of a lot of this stuff right now, because the plot is, I don't want to say the plot is slow, but there's so many different elements to it, and I feel like I lose track of it almost within just one or two issues. So that part's not that part's not that exciting for me, unfortunately, and it kind of loses me a little bit when that happens. But as far as like this story itself, this story by itself, this is cool. That's not a problem. I liked the story of these two pieces. Did not like the art for the alternate universe stuff, but I did like all of the other art. It'll be interesting to see what happens with Skywarp on here, because he's calling himself something very unique here. So that's a thing.
Yeah, I mean, I agree with you about the art is the return of Angel Hernandez, who had done done art on the first few issues of the Transformers reboot, and yeah, he's not my favorite art style, and yeah, I think that his style works for an alternate universe or alternate dimension, so if he stays there, I guess that's his art style on the main book was always a bit jarring. So
yeah, sorry, dude. I mean, you're not a bad artist or anything. It's just I'm not a fan of your style.
Yeah,
but
yeah, I mean that he's back for, I guess, did guest duties for this issue and the previous issue for just those alternate universe sections, or I guess dystopian future sections, now that twist has been revealed.
What a twist.
All right, Daryl, what did you think of this issue?
Well, I'm going to agree with you. I actually enjoyed reading this one. There was a lot to take in that first half of the issue with X-Archon, and I kind of wish there was a little bit more with X-Archon, a little bit more, kind of development. I have a feeling we're going to get it eventually, because that's a pretty hefty plot to just kind of leave. I did like all the battle. There were characters dying, and, they stayed dead because, it's the future and it's not relative to what we're, the present that we're in the book. So they're dead. I have to say, I did find it interesting with the kind of aliens, the thralls wearing Transformer, bodies as mechs. I thought that was kind of interesting. A bit of a throwback to like Diaclone stuff, where the Diaclone figures had drivers. I thought that was kind of interesting, whether that was on purpose or not. I think I'm in agreement with everybody how Angel Hernandez, his art style is it's not our favorite here, but it works. I was happy to see Provoke kind of come back a bit. So, we're going to get a bit of a story about how I think Provoke is going to say X-Archon was never killed. Sounds like Provoke was there right at the end, and they'll be the linchpin to telling everyone that X-Archon is not in fact dead, and that they're out there somewhere. So I think that's probably where this is going to go with Provoke. It's happy to see it's good to see Cyclonus kind of, excited about something for once. It's been quite some time since we saw his ghost friends. Wasn't Provoke one of them?
I believe so. So yeah, I mean, that's the question has always been: are his ghost friends entirely in his head, or are they some real manifestation of his connection to the afterlife or something? So
right,
yeah, I don't know.
I'm sure we'll find out. And then the return of Skywarp. I had no idea he was even gone. So I had never. It was one of those things that's like, okay, I'm back. Okay, great. How long have you been gone? I really hadn't noticed that he was even gone. So yeah, that's cool. It's interesting to see. I'm curious to see what kind of character development they're going to give Skywarp here. It looks like he's going to be a bit of a shit disturber. So sure, whatever. Let's go on. I like the book. It read very, very well. I didn't find myself really bored with anything here.
All right. And Daryl, I was expecting you to point out the symbol that the mercenaries have on their mech suits.
Well, I mean, they are the mercenaries from the, I mean, I did notice it when I read it, but I didn't think to point it out during this. I thought that the person doing
point out that looked like a stamp.
Oh, well, that's something
that's a given.
Yeah, I mean, I don't even complain about that anymore too much. But yeah, no, that is the mercenary symbol from the card game and from the War for Cybertron show, right? So everything's coming together.
All right, Jeremy, what did you think of this book?
I also enjoyed the book. I'm happy that kind of after a slow part one, it did have a lot of action here. The art for the dystopian future, I agree, wasn't as clean as we really liked with the present day stuff. But I mean, I do think that was on purpose, and the style kind of reminded me of a lot of the original G2 comics, kind of a more rough style, particularly like in the faces. I kind of got that feel.
Yeah, I kind of get that vibe. I agree.
Yeah, but I mean, I think it is kind of meant to just kind of make you feel a little bit uneasy with the roughness of this art. I like that they followed up on the Nucleon thing from the last issue where Thrall Tech and Energon were what was used with Jumpstream's whatever that they had done to kind of boost her powers. So kind of showing that all of those things are things to be aware of as we go into these future stories, because you have the Thrall here in the dystopian future. Nucleon obviously is a big part here. So it'll be interesting to see. And I like that Nucleon is being kind of reintroduced. I don't know if the previous continuity really mentioned it at all, but yeah, I think for an issue that's setting up a bunch of stuff in the future, I think this was a pretty action packed, and I love time travel stuff, even though it gives me a headache. And after having like Loki just ending, and I don't know, just time travel in multiple universes just seems to be kind of something everyone is doing now. And I like that this kind of played with both, ends up kind of at least seeming that it's going to be a time travel. I really would like a multiple universe thing at some point where we can kind of visit previous continuities. But for the most part, I was pretty happy with this book. I think, as I've said from day one with this, the ideas presented are really good, and I'm enjoying it. This one actually had good execution, good pacing, so I was happy with it.
All right. And just a point of reference, Nucleon did figure in the previous IDW continuity. Actually, the Decepticon Justice Division had a Nucleon mine, and that's how they got like supercharged and were so powerful, is that they had access to their own personal store of Nucleon.
But it didn't affect their alt mode abilities.
Right. It did not affect their alt mode. It was just kind of mentioned as a super fuel, not a fuel that took away people's alt modes. So, all right. Well, that is our review of Transformers issue 32. And we will move on to Transformers Media News.
This week in media news, we got a puzzle coming out from Renegade Game Studios. So Renegade is the company that is going to be doing the Transformers deck building game and the upcoming Transformers RPG. And they put a puzzle together, a 1,000-piece puzzle based on the artwork for the deck building game, like the box artwork. That will be coming out at some point in the future. I don't think it has an actual release date yet, but it is going to be about $20, and it is 1,000 pieces. So if you're into puzzles and you enjoy doing them, I know I do, you can go ahead and pick this up. It's available for pre-order on the Renegade Games website, and if you are interested, you probably want to put the pre-order in for it, because I don't know, I have trouble imagining this as a big mass market release, so it might not even show up on things like Targets and Walmarts and stuff like that. So if you're interested, put your pre-order in. It is up now, ready to be pre-ordered. In movie news, we have a couple of sightings of vehicles on set, thanks to the Montreal Car Spotting Facebook group. We got some images of a silver Porsche, which I believe is that's not a Jazz, that's a Mirage, if I remember correctly.
Yes.
So we got a couple of shots of Mirage, even though the vehicle mode looks so much like Jazz. But either way, it's Mirage. A shot of a beat-up blue Volkswagen Beetle. A picture of a picture someone took of a script sitting in the back seat of a car, but unfortunately the picture is not quite clear enough to actually read the script. So there's that. But the biggest news on this is we got some pictures of what is believed to be Optimus Prime. And it is very, very close to the G1 Prime, that Freightliner like cab over engine truck, the red and blue truck that we've all come to know and love. In fact, it is very, very close to a G1 looking Prime. Two minor differences that I can spot, kind of just right off the top there. There's a silver piece above the windows, which I believe is just like a sun visor. Yeah, it is what it is. It's just a little piece of silver up there. And Prime has a brush guard kind of mounted over his grill, which, it's okay. It's a bit of a weird addition because it's actually more work to put that on rather than leave it off. But, that is what it is. But yeah, these images are it's super, super close to a G1 Prime. So I think all us G1 fans will be really happy to kind of see that.
And this is very much the way that Prime was portrayed at the end of the Bumblebee movie. So this is for adding
a little bit.
Yeah, I mean, adding further confirmation that this is kind of a continuation from the Bumblebee movie, like the Bumblebee movie that took place in the 80s, and then this Rise of the Beast is supposed to be taking place in the 90s. So you will have Optimus Prime in that, if you have the studio series Optimus Prime from the Bumblebee movie, that's probably what you can expect in Rise of the Beasts, at least. Maybe some tweaks or cosmetic changes, but that's the figure you're going to have here.
Let's not forget that we saw those pictures of a transport truck being hauled to the set. It was entirely wrapped in this white plastic, and that was not a cab over tractor trailer. That was a long nosed one, right? So there's still another truck to be seen on this set, and it's not this one. So there's the possibility that we'll see a new body for this Optimus, or we'll see another truck in the show. So
makes sense. I mean, they did that in Transformers 4 as well. So it's a kind of a well-worn trope at this point that Prime is going to upgrade his body over the course of a film.
Fair enough. Yeah.
But yeah, so depending on how long this vehicle stays in the movie, I think fans will actually be pretty pleased with how it looks. Like I said, it is really, really accurate to G1. So yeah,
I don't really like the diagonal part of the stripe. I think I don't know. It just something about that I don't really like.
Didn't he have that on the toy?
Can't remember being diagonal, but I did put some pictures here of someone else got some better shots of the truck. I'm trying to put that in the chat.
You're right. It wasn't diagonal. It was just a silver stripe straight across. That stripe is, again, there is a diagonal stripe that goes up the side of the cab, and it is fairly prominent. So, I mean, honestly, I don't think it really wrecks the overall appearance of it.
No.
But yeah. All right. Well, we'll keep an eye out for even more images as filming continues, and we get more stuff from the set. And that is media news, Charles.
All right, and we will finish up the show with convention news.
All right, we got lots to talk about in convention news. TF Nation has a couple announcements. They have announced voice actor Edward Bosco is going to be attending. He's voiced many anime series like Mobile Suit Gundam, One Punch Man, some Pokemon. But he's also Ultra Magnus, Refractor, and Soundwave in the Netflix War for Cybertron trilogy. So, kind of cool. They're getting someone from the Netflix show. And also they're going to have a Transformers Prime reunion, kind of. They're inviting creators from that. Jeff Klein, Nicole Dubois, I still can't pronounce her last name. Marcia Griffin, Joker, Steve Melching, and Dwayne Capizzi to celebrate the 10th anniversary, as it says for the UK, of Transformers Prime. So I think that's really cool, getting some behind the scenes stories and stuff on the creation of the show. I think that's really cool. I mean, with the 35th anniversary of the 86 movie and the 25th anniversary of Beast Wars, the 10th anniversary of Transformers Prime, I guess, is kind of being forgotten about. And that is an excellent show. Over in North America, TFCon announced today, as of the day of this recording, so thank you so much for announcing something before the podcast is recorded. Olivia Ramondelli is going to be attending TFCon Baltimore 2021. He's a comic artist on many of the IDW stuff. He also has his own creator-owned work that the name just flew out of my head.
Killlock.
Oh, Killlock. Yeah, Killlock. So I'm sure he'll be talking about that and his work on stuff like Galaxies, his most recent work, and lots of stuff. So he's always good for commissions and prints and stuff. So be sure to check that out. And then finally, this I just saw on Facebook, Robo Toy Fest, August 8th in Pasadena, California, is going to be having their guest of honor is Flint Dille. So I'm sure he's going to be telling a lot of the stories about the 86 movie and other G1 stuff. He's always a great guest at conventions. So be sure to check that out if you're in the LA, Pasadena area. That is it for convention news.
All right. And that will do it for this episode of Transmissions Alt Mode. Thanks again to everyone for listening. And of course, we always end the show by giving a shout out to our masterpiece donatrions, John 4X Levengood, Dinobot Maximize, and Demon Tech 82. Thank you guys for continuing to support the show at our highest level. We really appreciate it. You can also buy merchandise from our TeePublic store. That's at transmissionspodcast.com/shop. And this week is a site-wide sale until July 25th, where everything is 35% off, which means t-shirts are $13. So if you were thinking about getting some Transmissions merchandise, now's the time with this sale, or anything from TeePublic through our link that helps out the show, transmissionspodcast.com/shop. Mike, thank you again for coming on and hanging out with us, as you always do. And thank you so much for editing all our shows all the time. We really appreciate that. And thank you for Empire of Rust, the first, only, and best live play Transformers RPG podcast. Anything else you'd like to promote while you're here?
You can go ahead and check me out on Twitter at Minervion. That's Minervion. And you'll see my photography work and my 3D rendering stuff that I do for work and all that cool stuff. Other than that, always check out Empire of Rust.
All right, we will. And that's it for Transmissions Alt Mode. Thank you so much for listening, and we will see you next time. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Bye, all.
Later.
Hey everyone, thanks for listening to this episode of Transmissions. But just because this episode is over doesn't mean the Transformers fun has to stop. Join us and other Transformers fans on our Discord chat server by visiting transmissionspodcast.com/discord. If you would like to learn more about how you could support the Transmissions Podcast, just visit transmissionspodcast.com/support. Thank you all for listening, and we'll see you again next week.
You said 2020? Yes. We're going 2020?
No,
It's 2021, Daryl.
I'm good. We're good. Charles isn't in the mood for my shit tonight.
I'm already too old for this shit.
Do you want me to take media news, Daryl?
Let's see what we got in media news. Some stuff, blah blah blah. What? I don't care. Sure, what the hell? Let's talk Transformers.
Truncate Silence, FTW.
That's the second show in a week that people have been talking over.
I said it already. Just move on,
Sorry.
Charles.
He's not going to repeat himself.
Doesn't work the second time.
All right. Okay. All right. Fair enough.
Professionals like Daryl do it in one take.
One take, Daryl. That's it. We'll do it live.
As always. So, Mike, which of these covers are you picking as your favorite for this week?
I think I'm going to... Actually, no, sorry. Skip past me for a second. I was actually just reading ahead for a minute. I need to look at the covers again. So, skip back. Come back to me afterwards.
All right. Okay. All right. So, Daryl, what did you think of this week's cover?
Skip past me a minute. I don't know. I have no idea. No, I'm kidding.
I'm gonna skip over the pictures of the the mixing sessions. There's just no story there. It's just
you gotta say them. You gotta say them.
Nope, I
can't
don't.
skip. That's the whole point. You gotta say it.
Executive decision.
We referenced it in the interview.
Yeah, we did reference it in the interview.
Fuck, did we?
Yep.
Did we actually say that we were going to talk about it in the show?
Oh, no, it was before the interview.
Oh,
I said there were pictures. You gotta say them. You gotta talk.
Oh.
Just mention them.
That's
the point. That's why this section sucks.
You don't have.
All right.
You don't have to talk about that.
Okay. Listen, Daryl. Charles's 99% overrides your 0.3%.
and Mike's doing the editing, so.
Yeah, I'm just going to cut it anyway. What the fuck? Screw you. You got me all discombobulated now.